Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Twister WX and welcome back to another forecast video. In this video we're going to be forecasting for the November 24th, 2025 severe weather event. We'll be looking at November 25th severe weather risk and then maybe some severe potential down the road as we get into next week. Of course, not much certainty with next week as of right now, but we will get into that this video. We're also going to talk about the winter weather that we are anticipating this week may interrupt some Thanksgiving travel, so stay tuned and keep watching the video to find out. I want to start off with our Day 2 convective outlook. This is for tomorrow, which is Monday, November 24th, 2025. So we have a slight risk of severe weather, which includes western Mississippi, extreme southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and portions of eastern Texas. So that's a level 2 out of 5 risk. 5% tornado risk, which is part of what is driving that slight risk. That stretches from portions of eastern Texas through southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and western Mississippi. So that 5% just barely includes the Houston Metroplex, also includes Shreveport, Louisiana, Pasadena, Texas, Tyler, Texas, College Station, Texas, and then that 2% does include Jackson, Mississippi, Waco, Texas, Austin, Texas, that area of the I-35 corridor, also Beaumont, Texas, Killeen, Texas, and we have a 15% damaging wind graphic for some straight line winds. That includes portions of northeast Texas, eastern Texas, just barely, southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and western Mississippi. So that includes areas like Shreveport, Louisiana, Bossier City, Louisiana. I know I said that wrong. Monroe, Louisiana, Greenville, Mississippi, and Lufkin, Texas. And then our damaging large hail graphic is a bit further west than our tornado and damaging wind risk. That does include Shreveport, Louisiana, Waco, Texas, Killeen, Texas, Tyler, Texas, and College Station. Then our 5% stretches into Dallas, Fort Worth, along with Austin and Houston. Also includes portions of central Mississippi. So that's stretching pretty far east. And then our damaging wind graphic, just noticed, does include portions of western Alabama. Okay, so taking a look at some models for tomorrow, here we've got the HRRR for surface-based CAPE. This is 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow, so let's go a bit further into the event. This is around 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, so you can see most of our CAPE is remaining in the Gulf, but in central Louisiana, we have around 1,500 CAPE, and then a lot of our CAPE is lingering in southern Texas. So I do think that CAPE, in terms of on the surface, is going to be a limiting factor of this setup. If we look at most unstable CAPE, and we'll also look at mixed layer, you see, well, that's not going to work. So let's go back. This new pivotal weather has been giving me all sorts of issues. We'll just move on to storm relative helicity for now. A very benefiting factor for this risk tomorrow, I believe, especially in our 5% risk area, is going to be our storm relative helicity. You can see we've got values around 650, even 700 here in the Texarkana region, and that is around 3 p.m. Central tomorrow. And as we go into tomorrow night, that is going to increase, and that is going to enhance our tornado risk. That's going to help those storms rotate quicker, get them going. But let's try to get back to our surface-based CAPE here. Most unstable CAPE, excuse me. In the most unstable scenario, looks like we'll get a bit more CAPE stretching further north into our 5% tornado risk area. But if we look on the mixed layer, really not looking like anything too much. So once again, I think that will be a limiting factor. But something else that I think is benefiting this setup is our wind shear, our bulk shear, especially in the first kilometer of the atmosphere. You can see this is 26 hours out from now. I am recording this. It is currently 10:10 p.m. Mountain Time on November 23rd. You can see we've got just shy of 50 knots of bulk shear in a lot of these areas. In our 5% tornado risk, we're looking at around 20 to 40. So that is going to help those storms rotate quickly. So they're going to be pretty fast moving, so we need to keep an eye on them. It's going to be a lot of things to keep an eye on, especially if they do converge into a line or storms, and we are going to take a look at that on the HRRR for composite reflectivity. But once again, this is going to enhance those storms' capability to rotate and produce tornadoes. Alright, so now taking a look at our HRRR for reflectivity, you can see this is tomorrow into the morning, and then as we go later into the afternoon, those storms try to become semi-discrete, but some of them are going to choke each other off, but also they may help each other re-intensify. An area of storms where I am watching is in that 5% tornado risk. near Tyler, Texas, this entire area north of Houston. We may try to see some storms go semi-discrete, and they're going to converge into a line, and then overnight we could see the potential for a QLCS tornado into northeast Louisiana, southeast Arkansas, and western Mississippi. And then that will continue into Alabama, where our severe threat will decline. But we will take a couple soundings really quick. So this is tomorrow night. So let's see ahead of this line. Okay, so we got a TOR sounding. Got around 300 SRH, so that is pretty good. That will support the storm rotating very quickly. 3 Cape, 37, so that is a little bit lower. Cape on the surface, not too much. So it's really just going to be the storm relative helicity carrying that. Cloud cover during the day may be a limitation for the daytime heating of the ground, so that might limit the potential for these storms to really soak up all of that moisture in the atmosphere. So that may limit us tomorrow, especially the clouds from these storms overnight. Taking a look at our significant tornado perimeter, which is also known as STP, which is a combination of our instability wind shear and then our lower level wind shear in the first kilometer of the atmosphere. You can see we're seeing values of up to 3 in north central Louisiana. So the ARRR is picking up on the potential that during this stage, as the storms are crossing through Louisiana into Mississippi, as we get into the evening hours of Monday night, we may see an increase in that tornadic activity, and that is obviously part of the area highlighted in our 5% tornado risk. You can see a couple other spots popping up to about 3, so it really just depends on where these storms are going to be and how much they take advantage of our atmosphere. See, we actually got 3.8 down there, so that's another TOR sounding. I have managed to pull a couple PDS tornado soundings for this event. I will continue to keep an eye on it, but now we're going to move into looking at some winter weather stuff. So we're going to move over to the GFS. You can see right now we've got this area of low pressure centered over southeastern Colorado, so that's bringing some rain to Kansas, Oklahoma, and then eastern Colorado, maybe some isolated snow showers in there as well. And then we're going to see our severe weather threat tomorrow, so that's going to move through. Then we're going to have another area of low pressure that's going to bring a decent 3 to 6 inches of snow to portions of northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. We do have winter storm watches in effect. North Dakota is also going to see some snow. I saw a winter storm watch for 4 to 8 inches and potential blizzard conditions with winds gusting as high as 40 miles an hour at times. So if you are in these areas, avoid travel unless necessary, and keep an eye on the weather in your area because it is expected to snow, and the snow will likely be falling relatively quick. Okay, so now we're going to move into some climatological outlook. We're going to start off with our GFS 500 millibar geopotential height anomaly. So this is based on climatology from 1981 to 2010. You can see that area of lower pressure centered over areas just off the coast of California. So that's bringing you guys some cooler temperatures than average right now. And this is part of the reason why the Rockies, especially Denver and east of there, are yet to see their first snow. It's because it just has been too warm, and when that rain does move through, it's not cold enough to freeze over. Then you can see as we move into Thanksgiving, we will be watching the potential for some colder weather in the Ohio Valley and Northeast, and we may see some snow with that. More details will be coming in a later forecast, but what's really driving some colder temperatures looking at the end of the month and into December is this area of lower pressure off the coast of California, and that will stretch into much of the areas of the west. So now moving on to my next point, in the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, you can see there has been a below average temperature area up here in Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. So in the next 6 to 10 days, so that's between November 29th and December 3rd, you guys are expected to see very below average temperatures, and then that will remain true for much of the west, even into portions of the central United States, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So Colorado, Utah, you guys are going to be around 40 to 50% chance of being below normal. And then as you go further south and east is where you guys have a 40 to 80% chance of being above temperature averages for the next 6 to 10 days, and then the Northeast we're near normal. And then for precipitation, what's supporting my idea of a Colorado and High Plains snowstorm within the next week or so is this 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. You can see we are expecting above average precipitation for portions of Colorado, New Mexico, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Wyoming. And then also across much of the country, we're expecting a lot more precipitation. So I'm not going to go too in depth with this in this forecast, but once again, it is looking like we may see some activity increase in snow and severe weather as we go into next month. Last things I want to mention, once again, if you are in these slight or marginal risk areas tomorrow, be sure to have multiple ways to receive severe weather alerts, smartphone, weather radio, so that you are aware when there is severe weather approaching your area. Stay aware and be prepared. And then I also wanted to mention our Day 3 severe thunderstorm outlook. This is Tuesday, November 25th. We do have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for portions of Dixie Alley. This includes western Georgia, southern Tennessee, the entire state of Alabama, much of Mississippi, and portions of Louisiana. We will likely see all hazards possible with this. It's too far to say right now without looking at the models, which I'm not going to do for this event in this video. It is expected to be pretty minor as of right now. I wouldn't be shocked to see a slight risk as we got closer, considering that it is a Day 3 marginal. But with that being said, that is going to be the end of this forecast video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, be sure to comment below, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.